hope this finds you healthy and well wherever you are. Today, I want to share with you a few 2020 important year-end planning reminders. As you know, a lot of this we're doing for you throughout the year, but I think it's worth taking a minute to just review it, make sure you feel good about how you're checking off all of the important boxes that are important for you at the end of the year, and reaching out to us if there's anything that we can talk about with you over the next month to make sure you feel really good as we move into 2021. As we go through these year-end checklist items together, I recommend having the handout I made available because it'll just make sure you can tick through all of those items. But I'm going to take a minute to focus on those that may be a little confusing or you may have questions about. So we're going to cover topics around taxes. There is more than ever between the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the Secure Act, and the CARES Act. There's a lot to consider. We're going to talk about retirement, some important key changes here. We're going to talk about investments. We're going to go over key pieces to think about at year end around insurance, healthcare, health savings accounts, flexible savings accounts, things to keep in mind with your family, maybe 529 plans, gifting, things around your trust, and then finally some important milestones to be aware of. If you hit any of those things, you have to start doing or able to take advantage of. On the tax front, there are more opportunities for planning than ever. First, we have the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which impacts how we do charitable giving, because many of the deductions that we were taking previously for donations we're no longer getting a benefit for with the increased standard deduction. Then we had the Secure Act, which impacts ages at which we need to take RMDs, impacts how we're passing on retirement accounts to our kids. And then finally this year we had the CARES Act, which eliminated the need to take RMDs. We're going to talk about that in the retirement section, but also gives you that benefit for doing a $300 above the line cash donation to a charity. So there's a lot going on, a lot of changes to be aware of. Other things that we're looking at an ongoing basis. These items include looking at realized and unrealized losses that we can take this year to become more tax efficient with your portfolio. Other things include potential deductions and tax credits for the year 2020, and of course being really efficient on the charitable giving side. So again, if we haven't reviewed your tax return and you'd like help with that, please get in touch and we're happy to look at that in more detail with you. For those of you who are over age 72, one of the big changes this year was from the CARES Act because it eliminated the need for you to take RMDs this year. However, there were other changes that happened last December as a result of the Secure Act, which pushed that RMD requirement age from age 70 and a half to age 72. So just some things to keep in mind as you consider your planning. If you are nearing retirement, other things that we've been talking about are Roth conversions and how that can help you out with taxes long term. So we've been looking at that with many of you. And then finally, if you are a long ways out from retirement, this is where you want to really make sure you're optimizing your savings for retirement, thinking about traditional 401k or Roth 401k savings, thinking about traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs. Those are the different vehicles that we can use as we think about saving for retirement. Again, if you don't remember, that Roth bucket, you take after paying taxes on it, but it grows tax deferred and you take it out tax free, which can be a great bucket to have built up. Whereas that traditional 401k or traditional IRA, you get an upfront tax deduction, it grows tax deferred, but then when you take it out, you have to pay tax on it. So we've been doing a lot of optimizing what that savings should look like, both to optimize your taxes now, but also to optimize your taxes moving forward. So really let us know if we can help you think about what your right savings might look like. We've also been reviewing IRMA levels, looking at Social Security optimization. There's a lot of different pieces on that checklist. So if you have any additional questions there, please reach out and we're happy to go through it. On the investment side, these are a lot of things we've gone through with many of you across the course of this year. We've looked at rebalancing, we've looked at taking advantage of the different dislocations in the market. We've looked at really making sure you're well positioned for your risk tolerance, for your goals, to make sure everything is set up really well. Other things just include looking at dividend distributions, making sure that's tax efficient, looking at your employer's options, different things you have there, and making sure that you have not only that asset allocation, but also the asset location, your mix of the types of investments you have in both qualified accounts and non-qualified accounts. So different pieces to consider on the investment side. But like I said, not as many new things here, so there might not be as many surprises for you to think about. On the insurance side, this isn't as imperative that it happen at year end, but this is also a great time to take a look at all of your current policies. If you have term life insurance, disability, an umbrella policy, make sure those coverages are where you want them and understand if there's any changes that have happened in your life this year that would merit taking another look at your insurance and making sure that you have everything really set up for you and your loved ones. On the health side, there are some important things to be aware of. You want to make sure you have the healthcare coverage you want, review that, make sure you have the best policy. That is true if you're in Medicare right now as well. But a big one is making sure that you've maxed out your health savings account contributions. Again, that family limit I've put on there, but it's up to $7,100 for families. So taking advantage of that really does make a lot of sense. That's the only triple tax deferred vehicle that we have. So we always recommend that people invest into it, but don't actually use it. Instead, invest it in the stock market, let it grow, and use it at retirement time. Another big one to remember year end is just make sure you've used your flexible savings account if you're contributing to one. Finally, on the health side, if you have some additional funding you want to do into 529 plan accounts, this is a great time to do it. It's also a great time to review and fund any trusts if there's anything outstanding there. And then, of course, if there's any gifting you want to do, this is a great time to look at it, and we're happy to help you look at the right amounts. Again, the limit per individual is $15,000 this year. And then finally, if you hit any of the big life milestones, and we've listed all of those here, just be aware of the new things that may be available or required of you with those different things. For example, pulling from your 401ks, applying for Social Security, applying for Medicare, and of course the required RMDs, and that's something that we obviously help you manage along the way. Thank you again for taking the time to check out this year-end checklist. We hope it finds you well, and as always, we are more than happy to set up a time to meet with you, talk through any questions. Just let us know how we can help. Hope you're staying healthy and safe, and have a great December.